Hey everybody, it's Brooke. I'm starting to lay out the cover for the next Slow Stitch journal. Super exciting. And I got this far in messing around with bits and I thought, well, I should probably turn on the camera in case you guys want to help me. Come on over, help me out. I've pulled out, as you know, a bunch of vintage doilies, some of this Pioneer Woman fabric. I also pulled out a lot of lace and trims. Just, I don't know, it kind of feels like it goes with it. So, this is as far as I've gotten. I've made some paper pieced hexagons, sort of pinned them in here, and these are a bunch of the different fabrics that came in the fat quarter packs that I bought. So that kind of pulls the colors in. This is another one of the fabrics. And this is as far as I've gotten. So, I better get crack-a-lackin'. Only other thing that I pulled out, I just found this little piece of fabric that I think is a feed sack fabric. And I put that up there behind the lace because it kind of defines the top edge and it makes that lace stand out a little more. So I guess we better get cutting and pinning. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Put these to the side. I did take a picture so that I can put it back together. I love this linen. This little doily. It is very stained and I've scrubbed it. I can't get those stains out. But I'm not crazy about the lace. It is kind of stiff and crunchy. Obviously cut out a piece for something there. But I think what I'm going to do is kind of fussy cut around these flowers and use the embroidered piece. Love the colors. They're just perfect. It is not the world's best embroidery, but I still love it. So that's going to go there, I think. And I have this pink doily. All I have underneath is a piece of Osnaburg muslin and a piece of cotton batting. And these rectangles are 9 by 12, so it can be the cover of a book, of a journal book. So I was thinking of cutting the doily. Do I want to wrap it around? I wonder if we wrapped it around, if it could be, if I could turn it into a pocket on the other side. Is that a thing? Do you guys think that's a thing? Make sure there are no pins under there. I do think I like this. I just love, this is a piece of a very old lace tablecloth, and I love this medallion that I pulled out. So we'll scoot through there with a pin. Get my little box of pins. I will invisible stitch all of this down as the next step so we can get rid of these pins. And I very sadly used some steam on my wool ironing mat and apparently that burns it. So there you go, FYI. I did mark, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, I marked where the spine's going to be. So that's kind of a handy thing to know. I think I want this to go all the way up. Whoops. That way I don't put anything, that's inflexible on where the seam or the spine will be, where it's going to bend. Let's get that lined up with the top. Get you lined up with the top. I want it. What do I want? What do I want? Well, I want to move that pin because it's going to get buried. Do I want to cover up that much of this pretty medallion? How many times am I going to move these pins around? Let me hazard a guess. A lot. I got to just get brave and chop into the fabric and be done with it. I don't know. Maybe we'll have it overlap on the back and have this one overlap on the front. That looks good. Okay, I think I like that. And we can still see that pretty blue feed sack peeking out. I'll trim that down. Okay. I think I like that. And then we can see the Osnaburg behind here, which is this really pretty kind of oatmeal color. I really like that. And who knows, it might get covered by the time we're done. Here are my scissors. Yep, I like that. I like it. All right. So let's fussy cut this out. Let's just do it. Let us just do it. Leave enough space around it so I can get in there and whip stitch it into place. With these little flowers, they're just straight stitches with a French knot in the middle, and it looks like they used all 6 strands of the floss. And with use, it's kind of gotten flattened down. It looks really cool. It looks like it's been used and loved, which I really like. I don't even really mind the stain. I mean, I know it's not going anywhere because it would have. Maybe I should have coffee stained the whole thing. Well, a little late to think of that, Brooke. Now that you've started cutting, you're committed. That'll be fine. I think I need smaller fabric scissors for this kind of thing, because these are nice and sharp, but they're sort of bulky. Let's get off that big piece. That might make it a little easier. I do like using this lace one rose at a time. The roses are really pretty. It's just if you use it as a full piece, it's kind of got that stiff feeling. So we'll put that in the to be used pile. Get back to this little guy who's really become a little guy now. Now that he has been removed from his background. Am I even on camera? Oh, I am. Hooray. Yay me. Well, it's 5 o'clock. Can you guys hear the church bells going? So nice. At noon and 5 every day. Well, 12:30 on Sundays. Because I think church is still in session at noon. What's going on back there? Well, that knot is pretty close. Gonna have to take a detour around that. We don't want to cut that knot and have an issue. So when you're cutting up old doilies and stuff, just keep an eye periodically, go back and check the back of your piece to make sure you're not cutting into anything critical that's going to make the whole thing fall apart, she says. Oh, no, oh my goodness, that was a close call. I can just tuck that back in when I go to sew it down. There we go. Oop, I'm going to need to get in there with smaller scissors because we got kind of a bumpy thing going on. See, that knot was right at the very edge. I just missed it. Well, I will clean that up when we're done. Oh, look how pretty you are. Oh, right down here too. Need a little cleanup around this corner. There we go. Yep, these scissors are kind of overkill. Okay, so that's going to go somewhere in there. And I like how the kind of oatmeal-y color stands out from the white lace. And then we've got our doily. So, we put our doily over like this. It does kind of seem like it could fold around to the back, doesn't it? Kind of seems like it. I don't want to go flipping it around until everything's pinned. I think I'll just let it hang for now. When we get the back piece pinned down, then we can flip this around. But it seems like that should work. Right? Yeah. It does seem like it. Mm-hmm. Cool. She says, flipping everything around, even though she just said she wasn't going to. What a silly goose I am. Trying to make sure everything's nice and flat. Don't want to stitch anything down cockeyed. It's always a little sad when that happens and you have to go pick out stitches so you can smooth everything out again. But I guess that's part of the whole thing, right? Generous with the pins until we get those invisible stitches in. That's gonna go. Oh, I like that. I do. Up a little bit, maybe. Oh, I have the itchiest nose. You probably don't care, do you? Sorry. Just thought I'd point that out. Very itchy nose. Look at all those yummy layers. I'm loving it. And there's another place over here where the knot is very close to the edge, so I'll make sure to go in with my needle and tuck those threads underneath while I'm stitching it down so that they won't be poking out and making a mess. Yep, I'm liking that. I'm liking it a lot. Then we'll have our hexies. Where did I put them? Oh, they'll come over. I've got to get them sewn together, but they're going to kind of come around. Can't remember. I wanted to have this one with the darker blue and the yellow in it to kind of bring the blues over to this side. Is that what we were going to do? That doesn't look right. Let me check the picture. Just doesn't look right. Is it overwhelming the doily, do you think? So those will kind of sweep across the spine. We can do some stitching on there. Then this is that beautiful handkerchief that I found. I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's just a little bit of like a crosshatch pattern. It's really pretty. Oh, and I'm shedding, as always. And I thought I would put this corner going right here and cut it so that the pretty edging can be on the edge of the journal. So once again, let's choppy chop. I think I'll cut it in half this way. That might not have been my best plan, but hey, it's where we are now. Put this to the to be used pile. And then just cut out. We'll do a little more fussy cutting. Making the first cut is always the hardest. I love all these colors. So beautiful. So with those little hexagons that I did in the blues, that's pulling the blue over into the front cover, onto the front cover. So that's a good thing. The embroidery is bringing the red through the whole thing. I didn't have that many red embroideries left, but I really like the one I found. Oh, I'll show you the other piece that was a contender. It's so cute. This handkerchief is very soft. I'm going to have to go back in and neaten the edges. Can't remember how far up it went, so we'll just snip it there. And let's see, do we want it to go underneath? Pretty much want that edge right on the edge of the journal. I think maybe we want it to go over that eyelet. I guess I was a little too generous, huh? Okay. Let's just get that lined up. I don't mind if a little bit of that fabric shows on the side because it gets nice and fringy and frayed, which I really like. I like that tattered look. I encourage it. I believe there's a pin underneath there. I'm going to end up stitching a pin in. Yep, look at that. I'm going to end up stitching a pin in underneath. I just know it. And by the time we're done layering this, there's going to be a lot of layers for a pin to hide in. Alright, I think we should turn the whole thing around. There we go. So I can get this right where I want. Make sure that's laying down nice and smooth. We'll give that a nip right at the top. Perfect. Little piece, I bet we could use that for something. Never say never. Okay, so I've left this side loose so we can tuck things underneath. I didn't cut that very straight, did I? We need a layer of something. Or do we just need to move the... Oh, rats. Yeah, we're going to need to move that doily over, I think. Well, phooey. It's got 27 pins in it. Wouldn't you know it? Well, there you go. Out they come. So we can move it over, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Oh, well. Okay, it didn't have 27 pins. It had 4 pins, 5 pins. So much exaggeration. There we go. Get those guys pinned together. And again, I think I will try to fold it around so it can be, this part of the doily can be a pocket on the inside cover. And I haven't decided which fabric I'm going to use. You guys vote in the comments. I am torn between, let's see, what were my choices? This one, which is like a printed patchwork. So we'll call this fabric A. So pretty, it's got all the colors. It's got little polka dots. Just love it. That would be a lot of fun. Or fabric B, which is this one. Okay, so you guys tell me. I can't decide because I love them both. Fabric A or fabric B? Decisions. Okay, so there's that. Put our 4 pins back in. Get this guy laying down. Lay down, guy. Yep. Our little hexagons will go floating through there. So in some fashion. And then, let's see, I've got this very, very old yo-yo, which I love. It's not exactly the colors, but I still love it. So I think we'll try to work it in. And then I thought maybe we could cut out this section of the fabric and put it down and do some stitching on it, some painting with stitches as we do. I think that's the section I like the best. It's got all the colors. Boy, I like this pattern. I just think the colors are so beautiful. So let's go down through there. Nothing like cutting into the middle of the fabric, huh? But I like this piece. Just do a rough cut so you guys don't have to sit there and watch me fussy cut this whole thing. I'm not sure which part I'll use, but once we get it sort of roughly cut out, I'll have a better idea. Trying to save that leaf. Oh, am I in camera? Sorry. Pulling it down towards myself to see it. Okay, that's a little too rough. Get a little bit more out so we have a better idea with the size. Don't think I'll use those yellow flowers. Cut around this leaf. And I might use those, who knows. So there, that'll give us sort of an idea. Oh, that's a whole lot bigger than a person expected. It's like the whole back cover. Heh. Well then, maybe we should just do this section. Maybe we should have fewer. Maybe we should have fewer hexes. Well, I don't know. Okay, let's give it a little bit of a further haircut. I do want to save one yellow flower anyway. And really, who's to say it's too busy? In my world, slow stitch cannot be too busy. Every inch should be covered. That's just how I roll. More is more. And I'm sorry, little rosebud, you're going too. You're hitting the road. I know I said I would only rough cut this. Sorry, guys. Just got to get an idea of where we are, size-wise, and what have you. And I think maybe those blue flowers have to go as well. Sorry, little morning glories. You are my favorite. I didn't even plant morning glories this year. Morning glories and tomatoes are the two things I grow every year. And they did not get planted this year. Although... Okay, guys, I'm back. I've been sitting here babbling away, moving stuff around, and realized I didn't restart the camera. Whoops. So I don't think I did anything much, just basically moving things around. I did take out this hexie. That dark blue was just, I don't know, it wasn't working for me. So I took that one out. I layered these little pieces. I found this tiny piece of selvage from something. And I just love those colors, so I put that in here because I try to include those when I can. I love them. And I added this little pink piece of, it's almost like burlap but pink, and this is burlap with a lace laid over it. However, now that I'm looking at that, that burlap is kind of stiff, and it's going to be right where our spine bends, so I think I'm going to need to change the order of these. Maybe put that there and that there. That way yeah, that's good. That way the pink, which is softer, will be at the bend of the spine. So that's much better. And we still get our cute little piece of selvage with the colored dots on it. And what else did I do? I put this over here. This is another little piece of this fabric that I cut out. I think I'm going to put some of the handkerchief over here to bring the blue over to this side. Now I'm kind of wondering, oh, and I cut these pieces, these little roses out from the scratchy edging of this doily. So basically you didn't miss much. I was moving stuff around and cutting stuff out. And I'm thinking, I want to keep this blue trim on the edge, but I'm thinking about stopping the doily here, or the handkerchief rather, here, and cutting up and around to give this guy some breathing room. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So let's see if I can move this without having to unpin everything. We'll just unpin this corner. Oh dear, didn't tip over the pins. So yeah, you miss nothing but a bunch of babbling and carrying on as I do. So I think I'll take it right around that little rose that's sticking out. And I don't have to worry too much about neat and tidiness because it'll be covered mostly. So I'll zip right up there and just keep that blue trim. Shaky hands. Whoa, too much coffee. And then we can steal one of those blue roses to put on the front cover. So that works out beautifully. And I found out when I was cutting stuff out, Tim Holtz's little tonic scissors, well, the medium-sized ones, do cut fabric pretty well. So I take it back. I think I was talking smack about them yesterday, the big ones. But this size did really well, so that was cool. Okay, so we can keep that pretty edge. Just have to tack that down real well. I just think that's so pretty. It's the tiniest little crochet stitches, like a single crochet in each hole, and they're so tiny and fine. I think it's beautiful. Guess I put my other pin away. How good of me. Okay, so put that there. It's getting pretty pink on this cover, but I'm okay with that. I like pink. Yes, I do. I like pink and red together. So then we've got this guy, which will come up here and hide the fact that we cut up that handkerchief out. Probably not that high. I was watching Corinne at To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne, and she had a great suggestion about using seed stitch all around edges like this, where you've cut out another fabric, and just to kind of blend it into the background, using a whole bunch of little seed stitches. And I thought that was really smart. She showed where she did it, and it looked great. So I believe I will be trying that with this. And then let's see, we have, oh, do I like that one? Maybe I don't. I don't know. There's that. I do like that one. You can barely see them on camera, but they look cute. There's that one. Do I want to go? I don't know. I pulled out this trim, which is wild and crazy trim. This is not old, I don't believe. I believe this is newish. It's crazy. However, it's got all these cute little flowers on it. So I was thinking maybe we could cut some of these little flowers off and use those. Again, I guess the scissors are a little big. They've got little dangles on them, which are cute. I don't know. Let's pin these 2 pieces down, or these 3 pieces down, because I do like those. So this is really all I do, is I pull out a bunch of bits and pieces with some kind of color theme, and then I just start chopping off little bits and layering them and moving them around and layering them, and that is my whole thing. I will go in, when I've got everything layered, I'll go in and do an invisible stitch over the whole thing to hold everything down. And for our new friends, an invisible stitch is just, I'll use my sewing machine cotton. This is, I think, 100% polyester. Yep, it's a little bit stronger. And a fine needle. And I'll take a little tiny stitch on the top, just a little straight stitch, go over a pretty good bit, like half an inch or so, and take another little stitch, and just go around that way so that the stitch on the front is teeny tiny and you'll never see it. And I'll go over the whole piece like that to hold everything in place so that we can get rid of the pins. And I think this is coming along pretty well. I'll stitch my hexies together and get those basting threads out. Let's see if we can get a rose out for the front. Oh, and I need to cut this up. So I'm not going to worry about that guy right now. You need to scoot down some. Act right. I do want to put a blue rose from the hanky. And I kind of want it to go that direction. Do I? Do I want it to go that direction? Or do I like that one? Boy, all these very important decisions. Very important. I kind of like the bigger one. I think I'm going to go with the bigger one. I kind of wanted it to go that way. But, that way. But that's okay. I still like the bigger one. So let's get him out. And that'll tie that hanky in and bring the blue to the front. So it's a win-win. Boy, is that soft fabric. This was a well-loved hanky. Very, very washed. I don't ever remember anyone in my life using a handkerchief except for my grandfather. He always had a very starched one in his pocket. Do you guys remember when people used them? Always been a tissue girl myself. Well, and with the chronic runny nose, gosh knows, I would have to have a million handkerchiefs. I'll save those bits because they're beautiful. him coming out. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. It's a different texture. It's more delicate than this, so that's kind of pretty too. There, that's bringing the blue onto the front. Yay. Pin him down. Get in there. Okay, and then I've got this piece of embroidery as well. Isn't this beautiful? Almost hate to cut into it, but what am I going to do with a little doily? It's in great condition. Tiny, tiny little stitches. The stems are all stem stitch, coincidentally, as are these little fence pieces. And look how neat it is on the back, you guys. Someone was meticulous. And they're tiny, tiny. So beautiful. And the colors are just perfect. So thank you, whoever worked so many hours so meticulously on this. And it's on a beautiful piece of linen, so we might be able to bring in some of this fabric. I don't think I want any of the little fence. I just want the flowers and the stems. So I'll do the same thing. And I've got enough light that I can kind of see where the ends of the thread are. And this person was a little neater about knotting their threads so they're not hanging out. Like this one, the threads are hanging out pretty far. And I'll need to do some extra stitching to get those caught back in. But these are neat and tidy. And it's got this beautiful lace on the edge, so maybe we can get some of that. So I'm just kind of doing a rough cut. Put that aside. Oh, got little bits flying everywhere. Yeah, you guys, I'm not sure about that rose. Do we move this over a little bit, maybe? And it's kind of floating. Jury is out. Yes, it is. Would it look better if we just removed it? I'm not sure. Well, let's cut this back a little bit more and see where it can go. At any rate, this is about the size of it, so probably what I will do, I have no idea how long I've been going because of my little not turning the camera back on thing. So this might be a really long video, in which case I'm very sorry, but I will come back and show you where it's going in the next video. Well, maybe not the next video. I do think I'm going to start another project because, well, why not? I have all these fabrics out and I've got so much of it. I think I'm going to do Corinne, speaking of Corinne, I think I'm going to do, she and Susanna have at Vintage Blend Studio, have a collaboration, spit it out, Brooke, going on a squishy bag project. And I think I'm going to do that squishy bag project in these fabrics. So I perhaps will turn the camera on when I start putting that together because it looks really fun and really easy, and maybe you guys have a beautiful collection of fabric that you would like to make a squishy bag out of, and it's to hold your project. You can put journaling stuff in it, you can put sewing stuff in it, you can use it for storage, whatever your little heart desires. But the pattern is available at Susanna's Etsy shop, Vintage Blend Studios, and I think it was $1.40 US. It was very reasonable. I assume it's just to cover the cost of listing it since, you know, Etsy charges a lot now. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Will it come up like that? Will it go in like that? Yeah, I think we're going to have to lose this little blue rose, you guys. Sorry, Rose. You're out. Your friend can stay, but you're gone. Bye-bye. Okay, now we have a more open spot up here. So maybe these can come down like that. Should these come out from behind? I keep saying I'm like, let you go. And I'm not, am I? I just am not. Overlap that. Okay, no, seriously, I could be here for another 3 hours just moving this stuff around. So I think you have a pretty good idea of where I'm going with it. I'm pleased. It'll get beads and buttons and everything else, but that's the next stage. Oh, and I'm also going to use this twine. I found it rolling around in my little project box, and it's beautiful. And I always like to put spirals in my work, so I will probably couch it down in a spiral shape and maybe bring it around to the front cover. Okay, maybe here. Okay, you guys, seriously, I'm going to let you go now. If this has been a 12-hour video, I'm very sorry. Get out your stitching and come on over to the Facebook group and show us what you're doing. It's Recreations by Brooke. That'll be linked down below. If you're new here, again, I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning, but if you're new, welcome. And if you're not new, welcome back. I really appreciate all of you so much, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.